sixth, and playing second base, Avalon Medina. The designated hitter for the Bears this afternoon, batting seventh, Corey Waters. In right field, batting eighth, number 1, Jalen Freeman. And batting ninth and playing first base, Turner Zadunich. The starting pitcher for the Saskatoon Bears this afternoon is Alex Chumra.
For the Regina, FloCollege impact player for the last home game against the Saskatchewan Express, number 2, Regina. It was a frequent ride for the 5 RBIs. Congratulations, Brady. And now, ladies and gentlemen, all the way, and say with me from Fox Valley, Saskatchewan, would you please welcome the tide of our favorite player, Slow.
Regina Red Sox, batting lead off this afternoon. He's at second base. He is number 4, Jacob Steele. Batting second and playing in right field, number 20, Raphael Jackson. He's the designated hitter this afternoon. He is number 12, Jackson Searing. Batting fourth and playing first base, number 44, Jalen Seward. Batting fifth and pitching, number 2, Brady Ty. At third base, batting sixth, number 19, Riley Bender. Controlling center field and batting seventh, number 26, Ian Watts. In left field and batting eighth, number 10, Jordan Tucker.
Mitch.
And the shortstop, batting ninth, number 7, Matthew Fox. On the mound for your Red Sox this afternoon, number 31, Ty Blanford. Your umpires for today's game, calling the balls and strikes will be Zach Bertrand. At first base, Elmer Jerkovitz. And at third base, Rob Allen.
Now joining the Regina Red Sox on the field is today's Junior Red Sox, the U13 Regina Expos.
We would like to acknowledge that today's game is being played on Treaty 4 territory, which is home to the Cree, Soto, Dakota, Lakota, Nakota, and Métis Nation. Ladies and gentlemen, we now ask that you please rise if you're able. Remove your headwear and join in each screen in the city of the Canadian National Anthem.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we sing
Settle in, grab your favorite baseball snack and your favorite beverage, and join us for this one as we welcome you inside the ballpark here at Curry Field in Regina, Saskatchewan. I'm Donovan Mace alongside Elliot Wagner. Elliot, we got a good one in store today, and hopefully as we enter the second half, Regina can maybe spark something as well.
Yeah, they sparked something last night with the win against these Saskatoon Berries, a team that has been the runaway favorites to win the WCBL title here in the first half of the year. They've been a team that not many teams have been able to beat, only losing 3 times, that being to all Eastern opponents, and they added another loss to that list against another Eastern opponent in the 6-4 loss last night. Excuse me, yeah, the 6-4 loss last night at Canes Field in Saskatoon. Regina looking to carry some kind of momentum in what's been a bit of an up and down start of July.
Yeah, we'll take a look at the Red Sox, who come into tonight 15-14, who are 10 games back of these Saskatoon Berries in the East Division, in third place, and they're also about 4.5 games back of second place Medicine Hat. Their last 10, 4-6, but have won 3 of their last 4 as we enter the second half of the season.
Anything they can get, and they can just kind of keep going. They really got beat up a couple of nights ago with giving up 19 runs and a 19-6 loss against the Moose Jaw Miller Express, and what was just a really weird game here at Curry Field. And Red Sox obviously bounced back from that, and they're going to need to do that as they have a stretch ahead of them that has a lot of winnable games, but you need to really beat the tough teams if you want to get ahead in this division, in this league.
And they'll look to keep things rolling with Kai Langford on the mound, making his 5th start of 2025. Elliot, what do you like about this righty out of Mineral Area College?
Well, I like that he's an experienced starter for the Red Sox. 3-1, 5th start. A lot of the 2 big starters for the Regina Red Sox, that being Holden Hungerford and Colton Anderson, have struggled as of late. They both started off 2-0. They both then lost the next 2 to 3 games. And I think giving it over to a guy like Langford and seeing what you've got in him, and potentially maybe changing that rotation order when playoffs come around, when that second half of the season really digs in, is really important. You know, Langford, he doesn't have numbers that'll scream off the sheet except for one, and that's the strikeout to walk ratio, 19-3 across 4 games. I think that's really impressive. He has experience against these Berries, albeit his only loss, which was in that 10-12 loss earlier in the year, where he went 4 2/3, allowing 8 earned runs.
And we'll get things started here again in Curry Field in Regina, Saskatchewan. First pitch slightly after our scheduled start time, right at 4 o'clock. We get underway at about 4:03 instead. Here's the lineup with Cooper Westland leading things off. He's a third baseman for Saskatoon, followed by Carter Beck. He'll bat second with Nathan Houston batting third. Evan Janner in the cleanup spot in left field. Balin Sorensen is the catcher and bats fifth, with Abia Medina batting sixth. Corey Waters, Jalen Freeman, and Turner Zadunik rounding out that Saskatoon Berries lineup. And man, this team has been absolutely on fire all season long. 25-4 record, 5.5 games up on the Mavericks, and 9-1 in their last 10, with last night's loss to Saskatoon breaking an 11-game hit streak that went from June 19th until last night. Their last loss, rather, was on June 19th to Medicine Hat. As Langford has Westland in a 2-2 count quickly here this afternoon. Good slider, but Westland check swing, doesn't go all the way around, so that moves the count to full. Three-two pitch here out of Langford. Has Westland swinging, and he fouls it off.
Another point to make about this Saskatoon lineup here tonight. They're out without one of their best hitters, Ethan Menard. Serious power guy, batting .430 with 8 homers.
Gets the night off, and Langford starts things this afternoon with a called strike of Cooper Westland.
Westland, he thought that outer part of the zone was going to be tough to hit for Langford. Thought he earned the walk there on that fastball to hit the outer part. Instead, eclipse the zone for strike 3 to bring up a pretty experienced, pretty dangerous hitter for Saskatoon.
Yes, that brings Carter Beck in. He's a left-handed hitter. 0 for 3 last night, but did drive in a run on a sac fly and then walked as well. Batting .329 on the year, but bats a little bit cooler over the last week. Just 4 for his last 20. But does have a double, a home run, and has driven in 6 runs over his last 5 games. And down in an 0-2 count here as Kai Langford looks to settle in. Little change up, low and away. Back able to lay off of that one.
Yeah, 3 pitches, 3 away from the zone. You don't want to give anything as a mistake to Beck.
Great little slider. That comes back into the zone. Beck foul, pops it high into foul territory. Under it is Riley Bender to make the grab. Out number 2.
Well done by Riley Bender, able to fight off. Not really too much of a sun. Pretty overcast here at Curry Field. Still a little bit brighter, but does a good job to track the ball into foul territory, does the third baseman.
And Riley Bender's catch allows us to take a look at the rest of the defensive alignment. Brady By, the other half of the battery for Regina, with Jalen Seward, Jacob Steele, and then Bender over first, second, and third. Matthew Fox is the shortstop for the Red Sox this afternoon, with Jordan Tucker, Ian Montz, and Raphael Jackson the outfield left to right, and Langford up ahead in a 0-2 count for the second straight batter. And here he gets Houston swinging. 2 strikeouts, 1-2-3 inning for Kai Langford, and the bats will come up next. Score is 0-0. We'll be right back on Flow Sports.
Merchandise trader, 10% off quality today. So if you're looking for some incredible clothing, top quality clothing, Regina Red Sox logo uniforms.
15.
You got that on 10%. And you know what is that? Regina Red Sox IPA and WCBL posters and all kinds of albums, perfect info at the merch trailer and the beer shack. And by the way, it is beer batter pricing all day today.
The Saskatoon Berries defense this afternoon. At first base, Turner's an image. At second base, Avalon Regina. The third baseman is Cooper Westland, and the shortstop is Houston.
Bottom half of the first inning here in Curry Field on a Sunday afternoon. A beautiful day, not too hot, not too cold. Few clouds and some rain in the forecast, but not before this game should be done. The Saskatoon Berries undefeated all season long following losses, and on the mound today to try and continue that trend is Alex Chumrao.
Yeah, the righty from Parker, Colorado, and the freshman from West Texas A&M. Not as experienced as a starter. This is only his second start on the hill. However, he has made 4 other appearances in relief. He's gone 8 whole innings, allowing only 2 runs, 2 hits, and striking out 10. He does have a 1-0 record in the year. He last appeared in that 12-10 win against Regina, where he went 3 whole, allowing an earned run and 3 walks, striking out 5. So looking to carry some of that momentum right where he left it off, right on that mound.
Yeah, that game back on June 30th here at Curry Field, where Chumrao did get the start, but it was a bullpen day for the Berries that day. We'll see how the Berries pitching coaches use the rotation this afternoon. Chumrao starts things off with the ball to Jacob Steele. Evens the count at 1. Steele comes into today's game batting .240. He's played just 6 games since joining the Red Sox last week. And Chumrao down 2-1 now to the leadoff batter for Regina. 2-1 pitch. Little high, says Zach Chartrand, who's calling the balls and strikes. Elmer Jerkovich is over at first base this afternoon, and Rob Allen on the third base line, but you'll see him over there at second, the 3-man crew this afternoon. And Jacob Steele able to work the walk, his 5th of the season, to lead things off.
It's been a real negative part of Steele's game is kind of the ability to actually get on base via walks. He's been a big hit guy. He's been a big swing and miss guy. And to see him get on early like that is really good. Because he can run, too. 3 stolen bases.
Yeah, you mentioned it. He is 3 for 4 stolen base attempts. Brings Raphael Jackson, a left-handed bat for Regina, who bats second. The rest of the lineup, Jackson Searing will bat third. Jalen Seward's in the 4-hole today with Brady Bye, the catcher, batting 5th. Riley Bender bats 6th with Ian Montz, Jordan Tucker, and Matthew Fox rounding out the bottom third of the Red Sox lineup. Now, for Jackson, the wind is pushing things out towards the short porch out in right field. A decent breeze blowing straight out to the right field foul pole. Maybe slightly across.
And worth noting with that Regina lineup, only 1 left-handed batter, that being Raphael Jackson.
Brady Bye's a lefty as well.
Oh, yes.
Bluffing on the steal attempt is Jacob Steele, and instead Chumrao throws the ball outside, and Steele walks back to first. So 1-2 count now to Raphael Jackson as he looks to stay alive here. Jackson Searing awaiting on deck. There goes Steele, trying to stay out of the double play, and it's over the head of the shortstop, Nathan Houston. Going first to third on the hit and run is Steele, and there's runners on the corners with none away here in the bottom of the first.
Wow, that play, Houston coming over to cover the stolen base attempt on the bag, and it goes right past his glove. You wonder if he doesn't move, if that's potentially a double play ball, if he's able to turn it quick enough. But a smart piece of base running from Steele, and able to get a little bit lucky with the base hit from Jackson where that one was placed. And now Regina doing something that they haven't been able to do against the Berries, and that's threaten early.
Yes, that will be key in a big spot here with Jackson Searing stepping in. Searing, the most dangerous bat in this lineup, is first pitch, and there goes Jackson, a stolen base for Raphael Jackson on the called strike.
Jackson, he's going to get a good hop no matter what the call is, and there makes the smart play, looks down to home, makes sure Steele doesn't consider trying to nab in that run.
That also takes away the possibility of the double play. And now 2 runners in scoring position, none out. Searing fouls that one off, down 0-2 in the count.
Well, 2 in scoring position. Searing, he's got pretty good power in his bat. 4 doubles and 2 home runs on the year, so should he need to, he can get that to the wall and clear these bases.
Was 2 for 5 last night with a strikeout, and then went on to steal a base as well on the base pads. Batting .389 so far this season, but over his last 6 games, 5 for his last 16, 7 runs, 2 driven in. Has walked 5 times. He's also been hit by 6 pitches. 3 of those, I understand, on Thursday night against Moose Jaw.
Yeah, he was not happy about that game.
1-2 count here. Chumrao the pitch. Breaking ball in the dirt, and Jackson able to lay off.
Now it'll be interesting to see how long Chumrao goes in this game. His first 2 appearances of the year, he only went 1 full inning. And in his last 2 against Medicine Hat and Regina, he only went 3. So I'm sure getting off to a good start is very important for the Saskatoon hurler.
Maybe being used more as an opener than anything. Maybe go through the lineup one time and then turn it over to the bullpen. Searing able to work the count back to full after a called strike and then a foul ball. Trumeau unable to put him away yet. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Swinging to the shortstop. And the throw is offline. Steele already had come across to score, but the throwing error allows Jackson to advance to third on the single.
Well, Jackson, that was a good play for him to go back. Houston over at short, he took a look to make sure that Jackson wasn't running. Thought about maybe going to home, and the throw well out of the reach of Zadunik, the first baseman. Couldn't get it on the back pick. And Regina are able to catch a pretty good break. They'll call it an E, but it's going to be a run on the board for Regina. They'll take it either way they can get it, especially against Saskatoon.
Yes, nonetheless, it is a 1-0 lead, and Jalen Seward now in. Runners remain on the corner. Similar situation. As this one gets away from Sorensen, Searing advances to second as Jackson comes across to score on the wild pitch, and now it's 2-0 Regina.
Well, things go from bad to worse. This one in the dirt and away. Jackson with the good hustle. Sorensen, he really knew that one was going to be a lost cause, not really making too much of a play to get it. Understanding the situation.
So now Seward still a runner in scoring position. Pitch is on the outside. Moves the count to 2-0. Just confirming the scoring play where Jackson Searing reached, not ruled a single. So Searing reaches on the error as Seward lines this one hard into the left center gap. Searing will walk across the home plate as Seward advances to second, a hard double, and it's a 3-0 lead for the Red Sox already.
Well, Red Sox fans have been wondering where's this team been for the past couple of weeks, as already we're going to get a mound visit here for the Berries. They even recorded an out. I'm struggling to keep teams against Moose Jaw and Weyburn Swift Current to doing this against Saskatoon. This is very impressive, and if this is some kind of an opener play, if this is some kind of way to just get through the lineup, Saskatoon have a choice to make, either grind through it or make the pull now.
And already 4 batters in. They have a little mound visit to try and settle down the righty. And there's movement in the bullpen, so it does seem like it will be a bullpen day for Saskatoon, regardless of how this first inning turns out. Brady Bye now steps into the left-handed batter's box for Regina. Bye coming into today, batting exactly .333 and has increased his average about 30 points just since the start of July. Even though we're less than a week in. And an even count, 1-1 here. As Trumeau struggles through the first inning. Here's the pitch in the dirt, gets away from Sorensen, and Seward will advance on the second wild pitch of this inning.
Now they're saying that hit by.
Oh, so check that. To me, that hit the ground, the dirt first. And Zach Chartrand checks in with Rob Allen, and Elmer Jerkovich will also come in as they have a brief conversation. While they're doing that, here's the rest of the defensive alignment for Saskatoon. Chumrao and Sorensen, the battery. Turner Zadunik, Abia Medina, Cooper Westland first, second, third, with Nathan Houston in the shortstop hole. Evan Janner, Carter Beck, and Jalen Freeman the outfield left to right. As they will call it a hit by pitch and also send Seward back to second.
Yeah, it looks like it hit off the right foot of Brady By, the inside foot towards the pitcher. So definitely going down towards the dirt, but I think it might have hit off the front part of his foot before it did graze the paint.
And this inning has the Red Sox licking their chops with the possibility of a huge inning. Already have put 3 on the board. There's 2 runners on. Riley Bender is stepping in as the 6th batter of the inning. And the Berries have yet to record an out. Pitch here. Big swing out of Bender. He's down 0-2. Waiting on deck is Ian Montz, hoping to get an opportunity. Guess the only way he doesn't would have to be a triple play. So this one low and in the dirt away from Chumrao, who's already thrown 25 pitches this inning, 14 of them for balls.
Yeah, in this game, it's off to a far cry from the start last night. Our first run didn't come until the bottom of the 3rd, and the next didn't come until the top of the 6th. So 3 here in the bottom of the 1st with none out is pretty crazy.
Bender makes contact. It's right at the third baseman. Steps on the bag. Throw to second is not in time, so it's a fielder's choice. But they do finally get an out, but just one.
Saskatoon, they're going to take their victories as small as they get. They know that their batting lineup can turn things around in an instant. So I think relying on your young pitcher to get through this inning at the very least is very important for not only the morale, but your game plan going into this one.
So Ian Montz, lefty hitter. In now, pitch low and inside, says Zach Chartrand. Ball number 1. The Red Sox have Montz listed as a righty.
Yes, they did.
That obviously not the case. Score remains 3-0. Brady By off his second. Riley Bender at first now. Pitch here. Low and away outside. Mott's probably his best game since joining the Red Sox last night. Went 3 for 5, scored 2 runs. He did strike out twice, adding to his total where he has 12 strikeouts in 6 games since joining the Red Sox last week.
Yeah, it took him a few games to get his first base hit as a Red Sox, but finally feels like those floodgates are starting to open.
Yeah, went 0 for his first 15. He has 5 hits since, though. 3-0 count, called a strike. So Montz will have to stay in there and see one more from Chumrao. Chumrao now at 30 pitches this inning. The Berries bullpen has stopped working, watching on. As Montz fouls this one towards them, but out of play and into the bleachers. That fills the count. Mott's a .208 batter. On base percentage at .321. Couple walks worked so far. And he draws another walk here to load the bases for Jordan Tucker. And And yes, they will be taking the ball away from Alex Chumrau. So we'll introduce you to the new Barry's pitcher after he warms up after the break here. Things roll on Flow Sports. Dallin Rude.
$20. $5. Back.
Back here after the pitching change for Saskatoon into the ballgame now, and tasked with a really tough situation is Dallin Rude.
Going into a bases loaded situation. None of the runners his responsibility, but the man making his 8th appearance of the year with a 2-0 record looking to get this inning over with.
First pitch to Jordan Tucker is outside. Rude's last appearance was in relief of Chumrau in that bullpen game where he was charged with the win after going 2 full innings. He gave up 3 runs, 2 of them earned, 3 hits, struck out 3 batters, walked 1. Another ball here. He's only pitched in about 10 1/3 innings. He struck out 11 batters. He's given up 11 hits, only walked 2 with a whip of 1.26 and an ERA of 2.6. Really serviceable arms. This one's way outside, and a 3-0 count with nowhere to put Jordan Tucker.
Yeah, Rudy's got to get things a little bit more just calm. I think out of the pen, you see bases loaded, you get a lot of jitters, but just hitting the zone is going to be really important.
He's able to catch the zone there as Zach Chartrand calls it a strike. So Jordan Tucker was taking that one all the way. And now in a 3-1 count, still just 1 away for Saskatoon, hoping to get out of this jam as Tucker with a big swing for strike number 2 to fill the count.
Now, we talked about how long he possibly could go. We obviously know the answer to that now, but with Rude, he hasn't gone more than 2 innings this season. So you wonder where the leash is.
Tucker makes contact. It's bounced to the second baseman. No play at second, so they'll throw over and get Tucker at first as Brady Bye comes across to score. And there's still 2 runners in scoring position.
Well, it's a good play from the second baseman, Medina. Knows he only has the 1 play and is able to get the second out. They give up the force pretty much everywhere else, but you will take that any day of the week, really.
Matthew Fox steps in, last night's player of the game for Regina. 4 for 5 effort with a double and a run driven in, which was the game-winning RBI in the 10th inning in that game in Saskatoon as he fouls this one to the left side. Down 0-2 here early.
And another pretty good strikeout to walk ratio for Dylan Rude, 11-2. Does have 11 hits, so that's seems to be how he's given up most of his runners.
Fox hoping to continue a big inning. This one also gets away from Sorensen. Another wild pitch, and here comes Riley Bender across. Now 5-0 Red Sox.
I mean, this is pretty absurd here, not just from the Red Sox to come up to such a good start, but from the Berries. They have really tripped on their tail here coming out of the gates. A lot of unforced errors, you could say. A missed throw from the shortstop. Was 3 wild pitches now, a hit by pitch. It has just been a poor beginning to this game for Saskatoon.
This is a different Saskatoon Berries than we've seen even just last week when they were here on Tuesday.
Even last night.
Pitch to Fox is low, and after getting a called strike and then fouling one off, he's now worked 3 balls to fill the count. Payoff pitch as Rude tries to get out of this one. Grounded to the third baseman. Fair throw. Great pick over there by Turner Zadunik, and finally the Berries work out of it. But not before they gave up 5 runs on just 1 hit for Regina. Big number on the board for the Red Sox, but the Berries bats coming back up. Top of the second after the break.
Discover abundant flavors all around Saskatchewan. Prairie Life, City Lights. Find your connection here. Visit tourismsaskatchewan.com. Fans, just a reminder, beer batter pricing in effect all day today. That means 2 beers for $12. A reminder from our friends at SGI, you can go out and have a good time, but just make sure those good times can happen again by always finding a safe ride home. If you need a ride home,
30.
Cody's not going to help you, but you can call First Choice Designated Drivers at 535-9394.
Just bought a smart car, bitch. Just bought a smart car. Sorry. Hey, we're hanging out with Bennett right now. Bennett, we're going to play a little game called Who Am I? Could be a sports figure, could be a superhero. We just don't know who it's going to be. And who's going to be helping out here?
Friend Emmett.
Friend Emmett. Okay, here we go. Here's hit number 1. I was once
3, 2.
Top of the second inning here after a big bottom half out of the Regina Red Sox. And now Kai Langford can kind of settle in here as he has a huge lead to work with. First pitch to Evan Janner is swinging strike. The due-up is Janner, Balin Sorensen, and Abia Medina for Saskatoon. Langford with a real solid top of the first with 2 strikeouts. Needed just 14 pitches to get through it. As Janner shows bunt and the wheels, and he reaches on a butt single to lead off the inning.
Well, if that's how the Berries feel like they're going to get people on base after a pretty catastrophic first inning, then that's going to be the way they do it. Janner showing he's got a lot of speed in those legs, but that was a really well-placed bunt. Not too far down the third base side to get him involved in the play. Forces that communication between the catcher and pitcher, and there's a man on.
Yeah, forced Langford to have to field it himself. Got too far away from by. And it was a really tough throw for the righty to make over to first. So Janner standing over there now.
12 stolen bases for him.
Balin Sorensen last played on July 4th against Moose Jaw, where he went 0 for 6 with 5 strikeouts. Sorry. Yeah, Sorensen 0 for 6. Did score a run, struck out 5 times, and stole a base, though. Throw by in behind is not in time. As By looks to try and get Janner.
He has a tendency to do that, does Brady Bye. He likes to throw down when there's a pretty dangerous runner over at first. And the pitch is outside the zone.
Pitch called a strike out of Zach Chartrand. Moves the count to 1-2. Sorensen. He's in the 5 spot today, a 289 hitter. But over the last week has hit really well. 7 for his last 20. Another look over at first as Janner diving in. He's also driven in 9 runs in his last 6 games. As he pops this one into foul territory, chasing after it to his right is Jalen Seward, but it is going to get over the fence and out of play for a foul ball.
So we were tracking that one pretty well all the way to the foul fence. Unable to make the read, but step out, get a little bit long.
So the count remains 1-2. With Janner leading off of first, there he goes. Pitch is fouled off by Sorensen, so the speed by Janner doesn't matter as he'll trot back to first and we'll redo it.
Now interesting, the hit and run call for Bailey Sorensen, I should say. Worth noting, Sorensen leads this lineup in RBIs.
1-2 pitch once again out of Langford. Gets the sign from Bye. It's outside. Bye does drop it, but it doesn't get away, so moves the count to 2-2. 2-2 pitch. Grounded towards the shortstop. Fox makes a great pick. Throw over to second is in time, but the throw from Jacob Steele is a little offline, so scored a fielder's choice. And Evan Janner reaches on first.
You know, when Fox fielded that play kind of going towards third base side, I thought that his only play was going to be at first with the speedster going to second, but he's able to get a great throw off his back foot. Unfortunately, the second baseman Steele unable to pin down the accuracy with the pressure on.
Javier Medina in now. Last night 0 for 5 with a strikeout in that 6-4 loss to these exact Red Sox. Pitch from Langford low and away. But I like the pitch as he gives his battery mate a vote of confidence. Langford hoping for a shutdown inning. Double play in order here. This one grounded hard, foul first base side. Medina, one of the better Berries hitters, as this lineup is deep. Ball in the dirt, 2-1. He's in the 6th spot. 366 on the season. Bat's kind of slowed on him his last 5 games. 6 for 25, still serviceable, but 2 doubles, 3 driven in, a walk, struck out 5 times over that time. Slugging's dropped a little bit as this one gets through the hole, a base hit, and Medina's hot season continues. Now 2 runners on. Just the second hit of the afternoon for Saskatoon.
Yeah, Medina able to track that pitch well as it breaks, but breaks a little too late. Gets it in the center. And another point talking about the Saskatoon lineup and just how deep it is, it seems a little bit unconventional in a way. Like Evan Janner, for example, leads the team in stolen bases and extra base hits, or is a good extra base hitter, but because of his legs, he's batting cleanup. Meanwhile, you got guys with good power like Medina batting a little bit later. You got Corey Waters, second on the team in home runs, batting 7th. So, again, the shifting of the lineup and being able to generate runs that way has been a real masterclass from the Berries.
Yes, Waters comes into tonight 31 for 93 on the season. That's exactly 1 for 3, so a 333 average, 20 runs scored, 11 extra base hits, and 21 driven in. He's walked 6 times, struck out 13. He's also stolen a base. The on-base percentage is at 380, slugging 560. Corey Waters, a two-way player, hasn't pitched in 2025 yet, but is listed as a flex player for Saskatoon. Played in 24 of the 25 games as he was swinging for the fences there. Unable to make contact, so the count evens at 2-2. A flashing green light for the DH Waters. Pitch here from Langford, grounded foul. Count remains 2-2 now. We mentioned, Elliot, we're now in the second half of 2025, and for Regina, wasn't really a flashy start to the season, but we've seen teams get, as this one is a swinging strikeout of Waters, but the ball gets away. There was nowhere for him to go, so the runners advance on the wild pitch.
Yeah, a bit of a weirder play there by. Kind of thought the play was over. Pretty nonchalant in trying to pick up the ball, so heads up from the runners. They'll get an extra base.
Let you answer my question. How
sorry.
key is a big second half here for Regina, especially since, you know, they're now 1-1 to start the second half. Last night, well, I guess last night was the first game of the second half of the season.
Well, I think it's going to be
on the year.
really important considering, you know, in the next 5 you're going to be playing against likes of Weyburn and Swift Current, but after that you see Moose Jaw Miller Express, who are a team that have had the Red Sox number in a short amount of games. You play the Berries quite a bit. You go to the West a little bit here and there, but it's mostly against Saskatoon, which are going to be the tough team to beat and the team you want to beat if you want to get a good seeding.
This one in foul territory, but Bender chasing after it, but he can't catch up to it before it lands left of the boundary.
Which I know we often say that in the WCBL. If just getting in the playoffs is really enough because you can make a run, but having a seeding advantage when it comes to the next round is just that much more important. Like the Berries and the Miller Express last year, the Berries were a really good team that played up to the Miller Express. If that Game 3 is in Saskatoon, there's a serious argument to say that the Berries in their inaugural season get to the finals.
Yes, the seeding can be important. The playoff seeding, obviously not final, but at least in the East Division, we're only halfway through the year, but it seems like the top 4 has already been figured out. This one also grounded foul by Jalen Freeman. As Weyburn and Swift Current, each with just 7 wins to this point in the season, and seems like they're falling behind and doing so fast.
Yeah, they're a team that need any kind of second half success just to grapple onto something, to morally have them realize that they can be a playoff team, because the way they're playing right now, it's very much an issue.
Yes, right now Saskatoon, Medicine Hat, Regina, and Moose Jaw, the top 4 in the East, and that's every day it's starting to appear like that will be the 4 making the playoffs for Saskatoon. Their magic number to clinch their playoff spot, just 11. This one's hit hard and into right field. Chasing after it is Jackson, who's able to run to his right and make the grab. Out number 3, so Saskatoon strands 2 on. It'll be the top of the Red Sox lineup up for the bottom of the second. 5-0 Regina after the break.
We go to the bottom of the second, and the Red Sox have a 5-0 lead. We have some very special birthdays in the house today. Fans help us wish happy birthday to both Lennox and Jacob. Want to wish your birthday to the Red Sox? Check out all the details at ReginaRedSox.ca. Well, loving the WCBL action, don't let the fun always be the end. Continue following all the baseball action on FloCollege with live games, highlights, and replays. Visit FloCollege.com to learn more and sign up today. That's FloCollege.com. Have you purchased your 50-50 ticket yet? See one of the Red Sox game against that. Selling tickets throughout the stands. We'll sell 50-50s until the end of the 6th. The winning ticket will be announced in the 8th. All proceeds help fund the Red Sox organization.
40.
The Red Sox 50-50 powered by Play Now. PlayNow.com is the official online gaming partner of your Regina Red Sox.
Thank you very much, Mitch. We're ready to cover the Regina Plumbing and Heating department. Mike is joining us right now. Mike, we get a lot of these commercials on television. Do you have a favorite Regina Plumbing and Heating commercial? Because everybody knows you from television.
I'm not really sure about which one is my favorite. Probably one where I'm dressed and maybe there's less scrutiny. But no, we get a lot of people that call in. Some love them, some hate them. Every one is my favorite.
We're talking about it, so that's the main thing. Tell us a little bit.
Well, if you're just joining us, you've already missed quite a bit. It was a big first inning for Regina as they were able to put up 5 runs on the board, and they needed just 2 hits to do so.
They went all throughout the lineup in that first inning. They'll start from the top here for the second. Regina have only faced off against 7 batters across 2 for the Saskatoon Berries. And as long as this 5-0 lead holds, the Red Sox could be looking for a very big upset here at home. And if they can steal 2 back-to-back against the Saskatoon Berries, that can make up for a very slow start to the start of July.
Jacob Steele, just like he did in the first inning, leads off the second inning, and he takes a first pitch ball. He's swinging on the second one, fouls it off and behind us and behind the booth. Steele led off the ball game with a walk and then came around to score the first run of that big inning for Regina. And he takes a called strike on a great slider out of Dallin Rood. Rood, already the second pitcher the Red Sox lineup has seen this afternoon. He faced just 2 batters, got them both out in the first. And Steele fouls that one off to stay alive.
And if you are the Berries, you need Rood to stay in for at least 2, maybe 3 innings. He's already recorded 2 outs in this game.
Steele making him work. 5th pitch of the at-bat, 3rd foul ball. Counts 1-2. That one inside as Steele able to work the count back to even. This one's hit high and hard into center. Under it is Carter Beck as he looks to find it. Able to do so and makes the grab. And already through 1 batter here in the second, it's a better inning for Saskatoon.
Well, good job to work the slider from Dallin Rood. He dropped a couple well into the zone, forced Steele to protect. Got a good recognition of that pitch, but a little bit too late.
Raphael Jackson steps in now. First pitch swing and fouls it off. Jackson batting .325 coming into tonight, already with a hit. As this one hit number 2 for the right fielder. Right up the middle. What a start for him.
He's been pretty reliable for Regina. He hasn't been outstanding, but he's been exactly what the Red Sox need, consistent. And here we're seeing 2 straight base hits. He can do that against any team in the league, and it's what Regina need if they want to turn a pretty mediocre first half of the year into a pretty great second half.
That brings Jackson Searing back to the plate. Reached on an error back in the first inning, but then did come across to score the 3rd run. That error did produce a run driven in for Searing. As they throw over and Jackson diving in. There he goes on the pitch. It's low and away. Play at second. Not in time as Medina unable to hold on to it. And it's a stolen base for Raphael Jackson.
Good jump from Jackson. Sorensen had a great read on that play, able to get the throw down in time, but Medina unable to apply the tag while holding the ball. So bit of a break there for the Red Sox, but a man's thrown position that they earned.
Jackson with 2 singles has turned them both into doubles with 2 stolen bases, already just 4 outs into this ball game on the Regina offensive side. Pitch here by Rude in the dirt. Count goes to 2-1. Also today at the ballpark, the Red Sox celebrating 20 years in the Western Canadian Baseball League. Searing takes that one. Nice little changeup out of Rude, but it's low and inside for ball number 3. Three-one pitch inside. Searing works the walk, and there's 2 runners on base, 1 out here in the bottom of the second inning.
Rude not wanting to give anything too juicy for Searing, especially with the runner in scoring position. And you can imagine a 6-run lead in the second is a lot worse than 5 in the first. But they'll make way for another dangerous Red Sox hitter.
Jalen Seared hit a hard ball into the left center gap for a double his first time up, which allowed Searing to score. A little bit of a different situation here for the first baseman. 2 runners on. They'll turn and look Jackson back to second. Later start than we're used to, 4 p.m. instead of the regular 2 that we usually see on Sundays. But a beautiful afternoon as this one's hit high and hard into right center. The outfield was playing shaded to left, and so Beck had to run way over there, but it is Freeman calling him off, and then on the grab, Jackson advances.
Seaward, they knew that they were going to get contact out of him, did the Red Sox, so calling for the tag to put runners on the corner is a smart play. And you could expect a double steal. We've already seen it one side of the Red Sox, or an attempt at it, I should say.
There's a ball, and then Jackson Searing. What a weird play. This Jackson Searing gets probably the weirdest stolen base you'll see all year. That pitch also low, says Zach Chartrand. That moves the count to 2-0 now for Brady Bye.
Yeah, Searing, it looked like he was just going to go, and then he almost stopped kind of halfway, waiting for Sorensen to try to attempt to throw him out. And then when he threw the pitcher, Searing stopped again. And then when he realized that that throw wasn't down to second, that it was back to the mound, he then started to hustle a little bit more back into second. So
he almost started walking back to first.
Yeah, one of the more casual stolen bases I think you'll ever see.
So Joe Carnahan now out for another mound visit. I think he just wants Zach Chartrand to come to the mound. And maybe he says something to the home plate umpire. Chartrand comes in to break it up. Carnahan giving him a little piece on the walk back as well. We did see a couple weeks ago with Chartrand behind the plate when Energy City was here, the opposing manager got thrown out, arguing balls and strikes.
And then the very next night, Rypathekos, Red Sox manager, was thrown out. I don't believe Chartrand was behind the plate for that one. But the possibility, all too real.
Gets the strike that maybe Carnahan was looking for. Count 2-1 now. Dallin Roodson's coming in relief. He's faced. Oh, this one's hit hard, but it's right at the second baseman, Medina, who makes the grab for out number 3. So after the big first, it's a donut on the board for Regina. 5-0 Red Sox as we head to the top of the third after the break.
No runs on 2 hits, 2 men left on. We go to the top of the third, and the Red Sox have a 5-0 lead. The bottom half of the second brought to you by Regina Plumbing and Heating, the official plumbing and heating partner of the Red Sox. If you are thinking about buying a new air conditioning system, call the pros at Regina Plumbing and Heating to book your install. They sell quality units at a fair price.
We're in Section A right now, and now with the Houston, we're in a little game called Rick Rock. And Houston, the way this works is DJ Jerry Longmuffin over there is going to play a clip of the song, and you have to determine through that guitar riff what the song is going to be. So, Jerry, are you ready? Here we go. Now, you can give a hint, or you can know already.
Satisfaction.
I did know satisfaction. There you go. Congratulations. We're in the first inning. You're not giving hits either. We got a nice little prize pack here from the Regina Red Sox. How about a Go Sox Go from you, Kirsten?
Go Sox, go.
You can do a little
20.
better than that, thank you. There you go. That's what we wanted to hear.
The top half of the third brought to you by Molson Coors. Molson celebrating 20 years as the proudest flyer of domestic to the Red Sox.
Well, here at Curry Field, celebrating the 20th anniversary of the Regina Red Sox. It was back on May 27th, 2005. This current iteration of the Red Sox played against the Weyburn Beavers in the then Western Major Baseball League in a game where they defeated the Beavers 5-3. And you can thank Bernie Eisworth for bringing the Sox back to the league. Obviously, Regina, the Red Sox, founded back in 1913, one of the longest sports franchises in all of Canada. Just a storied history for this Regina Red Sox, and one that's continued since they rejoined the WCBL 20 years ago. Turner Zadunik in for Saskatoon. The number 9 hole hitter, as the Berries lineup will turn over this inning. As he fouls this one off. Count is 1-2 to Zadunik. Kyle Langford pitching really well through the first 2.
He's been efficient. 3-batter inning, 4-batter inning. Only 2 base hits and a fielder's choice allowed. And
this one grounded over to Seward. He makes the grab. Langford covering it first to make the out. And through the first turn of the Saskatoon lineup, they have been unable to put a run up on the board.
And usually you say when you face 8-9-1 that's going to be a pretty tough part of the lineup. But like we talked about how Saskatoon like to form their batting order, it is actually one of the more weaker parts with Freeman, Zadunik, and Westland.
Westland stepping in, second plate appearance for him this afternoon, and he struck out looking to lead off the ball game. Langford gets the called strike out of Zach Chartrand. Westland coming into tonight, short little 3-game hit streak. This one hit hard, and that's going to turn to 4 as it's into left center field and in front of Ian Motts. 1-out single for the third baseman.
Third man to reach for the Berries, and I guess Seduna continuing his hot streak he's gained as we turn it back over to the top.
Carter Beck stepping in now for Saskatoon, the number 2 hole hitter. There goes the runner, first pitch. It's outside, play at second, and that's an absolute strike to get Westland stealing by Brady By.
Brady By, the good throw. Matthew Fox, a good tag, but even better positioning. Able to completely cover the bag from By's view. So he's in a fantastic spot to apply the tag, no doubt about it. And that's a big out, number 2.
So after the leadoff single, not the leadoff, 1 out single, Carter Beck back in, was hoping to have a runner in scoring position, but instead there's nobody on with 2 outs for the number 2 hitter. He popped into foul territory with Riley Bender making the grab, and he grounds it to second base this time. Steele able to make the play easily, and despite the 2-out single, it's a 1-2-3 inning, and the Red Sox get out of it. Score remains 5-0, bottom of the third coming up.
The Red Sox hold a 5-0 lead. Fans, the Red Sox are in action again on Tuesday night, 7 o'clock start. The Swiftburn 57s will be here. We hope to see you. Bingo numbers are brought to you by Unifor Local 594. Safety is our business. Refinery workers putting the care in career since 1942. A proud sponsor of the Regina Red Sox. If you have these numbers on your card, you can cross them off. 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 11, 12, 15, 17 through 21, 24, 25, and 27. They have all 9 numbers on
30.
your card to occur during this game. Take your program up to the official scorekeeper for verification immediately. You can also bring him a hot dog if you want. He'd really appreciate that. The first game card with all 9 numbers will be awarded a prize.
15.
At the plate, the third baseman, number 19.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Dylan Rood back on the mound for Saskatoon. He's now worked 1 2/3 innings, and after a really tough outing for the opener this afternoon, who gave up 5 runs, 2 of them, however, only earned, Dylan Rood has been real solid.
Only facing off against 5 batters in the last inning, which is a far cry from the 9 in the first. Face off against 6, 7, 8. And here gets up early in this count.
And leading things off is Riley Bender. Reached on a fielder's choice and then came around to score. And he goes down looking on just 4 pitches in this at-bat. The backwards K for Dylan Root. So Ian Mott's now in. First pitch swinging. It's a looper that lands just foul and out of the reach of the chasing Cooper Westland.
Yeah,
That's just a little
Sorry,
bit more to the right. That probably lands in between all 3 fielders.
that was maybe a foot away from dropping right on that line and giving Mons a base hit, but said he'll have to work for it.
Motts drew a walk in the first inning. One of those was a wild pitch, which allowed a run to come across. He was the last batter, which Chumrao faced. And his walk at the time loaded the bases, but Rude was able to get out of it. Two-two pitch here to the lefty Motts. Here's the pitch. He lifts this one over the third baseman's head, and it's another hit for Ian Motts. He's now 4 for his last 6.
Yeah, nothing really Westland could do about it. Wind didn't play too much of a factor in that one, just kind of blooped over the head of the third baseman and then landed a few feet behind him. Good little excuse me hitting from Ian Motts.
Jordan Tucker was the first batter which Rude faced this afternoon. As now the Red Sox order has gone through one time against this reliever. Throw over as Mott's diving back in.
I noticed with Rude, the way he kind of throws over to first, it's almost like he sidearms it as he tries to get it a little bit quicker and catch the runner off guard.
For Tucker, last played back on July 3rd. There goes the runner. Hit and run was on, but Tucker fouls it off. Tucker was 0 for 4 that night. Did score a run. He struck out and then also was hit by 2 pitches. The Detroit Lakes, Michigan product, batting .313 on the season, but in his last 3 games, just 182 the average. 2 for his last 11. For a guy who has 31 hits on the season. It was a really hot start. Oh, and they just got Motts on the pickoff. And Elmer Jerkovich making the call.
Yeah, and they're right. Mons kind of double clutched if he was going to go or not on that one. Looked like the hit and run or some kind of call was on that involved Mons running and really caught off guard by that pickoff attempt.
So at the plate, Jordan Tucker takes a ball on the slider outside. That moves the count to 2-1. Now there is 2 outs for the number 8 hitter, Tucker. The pitch by Rude on the 2-1, high and outside. Now Tucker's on base percentage, although he's been hitting 182, is over 350. He's worked quite a few walks over these last 3 games. So stolen a base. As this one's hit into center field, and that's going to drop in front of Carter Beck. A 2-out single, and the inning stays alive for Matthew Fox. It's a great little piece of hitting and a great at-bat out of the 8-hole. Matthew Fox in now. First pitch on a Dallin Rude is a strike on the outside corner. Fox 10 for his last 23. Started the season off a little bit slow, and now the bat has really woken up. .435 average over his last 6 games. That includes 3 doubles. The on-base percentage over .530 as well. The OPS over 1100. And I also feel like the defensive game is cleaned up for Matthew Fox as well. Big swing there. Foul tipped into the glove.
Yeah, he's definitely had a bit of a weaker start to this season than he did last year, statistically, but defensively he has gotten back to his form.
Down in an 0-2 count here. They'll look back over at first. That's about the 6th pickoff attempt this inning. And the Curry Field faithful letting Dallin Rude know that they like to see some baseball get played. But you still got to manage the run.
Yeah, down 5-0, you want to make sure you keep track of every single base runner that you allow. They did it well with Ian Mons, the at-bat before.
Rude, 51st pitch of the ball game is fouled off. And again, Rude coming in relief back with 1 out in the first inning. He did face Jordan Tucker and Matthew Fox before the lineup turned over for the second. He got both of them out. Another pickoff look over. He's given up just 3 hits since coming into the ball game, has Rude. None of them have come around to score, just 3 singles. This one hit hard right up the middle. Tough hop there for Medina, but he's able to track it well. And the Red Sox leave another stranded. The score remains 5-0. We're through the first third of the ball game. The middle third coming up here on Flow Sports. We'll be right back.
We played 3 complete in your score. Regina 5, Saskatoon 0. That block in the third brought to you by Box Modular, the official trailer sponsor of the Red Sox. We've got your bases covered with affordable prices, fast delivery, and spectacular customer service. Don't get caught run office space. Slide into boxmodular.ca. Or send him down to the field to Cody. He's on the field for the Bennett Dunlop 4 Power Wheels race.
How about a big round of applause for our Regina Red Sox celebrating 20 years this year? It's the 20th anniversary of the Regina Red Sox. And joining us here for Power Wheels, we've got Kinsley in the red hat, and we've got Jane in the pink shirt. And when I say this is going to be ready, we're going to step on it, and we're going to race all the way to Slider. Are you two ready? Okay, 3, 2, 1.
30. Three, two.
Through 3 innings here at Curry Field in Regina. A beautiful Sunday afternoon here in the Queen City. And what a start it was for Regina, who are up 5-0.
Yeah, third and away in this game. They've looked like the better team. They've hit better. They've been more efficient on their defense and pitching. They're going to face a tough part of this Saskatoon lineup, but if their second way through is remotely like their first way through, then Regina could be looking at a good part of the second half of the game.
It is Nathan Houston, Evan Janner, Balin Sorensen, 3, 4, 5 hitters up as the meat of this order will face off against Kai Langford. And for Langford, he's given up just 2 hits through the first 3. First pitch out of him is a ball. Now, as I mentioned last inning, we're celebrating 20 years of the Regina Red Sox in the league. Lots of former players and an alumni here visiting the team. Now, what's been really tough is a lot of the records going back that far aren't available online, so a lot of old wives' tales about what the then WCBL was like 20 years ago. And talking with now President Gary Brotzel, he was the assistant coach for that team in 2005. That was the only year they've missed the playoffs since. They've made the playoffs all but 1 year. The only year they missed was 2005.
And with this team, you'd imagine that's a streak the Red Sox are kind of able to keep going. This is a team that has the caliber to make the postseason. Not only that, but to make a run. But the one thing that's going to hold them back is consistency, and that's all team-wide. That's pitching, that's starting pitching, that's start to start, that's relief pitching, that's coming out of your bullpen every night, that's from the bottom of your lineup. That has sometimes just been non-existent for Regina when they need it.
Well, and despite making the playoffs 19 straight seasons, they've won just 5 division pennants since 2010 and 2 WCBL championships. Of course, that back-to-back run in 2011 and 2012. And that's where the online records for the league begin, is in 2010. So I was able to go back and figure out, okay, what has the success been like for the Red Sox? They have 402 wins, just 263 losses in the last 15 years. It's that pre-2010 history that feels like prehistory at this point. Good pitch there out of Kai Langford. Moves the count to 1-2. It is Evan Janner at the plate after the Nathan Houston leadoff walk. Houston last night went 0 for 3. That snapped a 12-game hit streak. And Zach Chartrand doesn't give Langford the call there, so it evens the count at 2. And Langford's trying to figure out where that one missed. So 2-2 count nonetheless to Evan Janner. This one's hit hard and into left field. Chasing after it is Tucker. He gets under it to make the grab. Out number 1.
Tucker reads it well coming off the bat. Looked like he was shading more to his left than he was coming in. Makes that turn and makes the grab.
The great start for Kai Langford continuing. And of course, in that last appearance, he really got hit around. Gave up 12 hits and 9 runs, 8 of them earned, which moved his ERA from below 1 to 3.8. His ERA jumped 3 full runs in that single outing. As he was handed his first loss of 2025, he got through just 25 batters, gave up, as I mentioned, 12 hits. He struck out 4 of them. His whip also went from .68 to over 1. As this one popped high and in the air. It's in foul territory, but Jalen Seward unable to make the grab as it was in and out of the glove. He should have had that one.
Off the heel of it, as he was kind of shading towards his back and he reached his arm out behind his head, but still, there's really no excuse for that. He's lucky that's in foul territory because would have been tricky to deal with.
The wind kind of swirls along the infield, and there is a slight breeze blowing towards Seward's right, or left rather. This one's hit hard as Sorensen uses his extra life and takes advantage with a 1-out single, and now there's 2 runners on.
Extra life's a great way to put that. If there's anything the Berries are exceptionally good at, it's being able to recognize when breaking balls aren't breaking and they're over the plate. That's how they're able to get a good chunk of their contact, as they do there.
Just the 4th hit surrendered by Kai Langford this afternoon, and that brings Abia Medina, who also had a real long hit streak snapped last night with his 0 for 5 effort. Medina's hit streak was at 13 going into last night, and that's where it stopped. He's already started a new one. It's back at 1 with a single back in the 2nd inning. But he was left stranded at second base. This one hit hard and just past Seward's glove into right field. Making the turn at 3rd is Houston. Play at the plate is a little late, as Seward's throw is offline as well, so it's a single. And then on the throw allows Medina to advance to 2nd. 2 runners in scoring position and a run driven in by Abby and Medina.
Yeah, this one well past the glove to see where that was going to be a tough play for him to make at all. Pretty heads up from Jackson to get that throw in, but the hustle there from Houston just too good for there to be any play for Regina to maybe catch the runner, and now Saskatoon have a bit of life going in them.
This one's grounded. They're going to make the play at the home, and what a throw and decision by Riley Bender, and the tag by Brady By stops another run from coming across.
Yeah, you said it, the fielder's choice to catch the lead runner. Sorensen thought that maybe Bender would kind of just neglect him. Instead, he's the first one they look to. Sees him going a little too far down that base path and makes the play. Well done.
Of course, that was Corey Waters at the plate there, and now Jalen Freeman up. Freeman with a hard liner to right field, but unfortunately it was just right at Raphael Jackson for out number 3 in the second. And with Freeman, it's a strike and a foul ball, and he's down 0-2. Langford gets the sign, looks back at Medina off of second. Pitch low and in the dirt. By has a chance to get him at third, and he doesn't. Riley Bender and Brady By absolutely believe that they got him. And By, looking at Rob Allen, says that was in time. And now Rai Pathakos out to have a conversation.
Yeah, he's going to ask if the umpires can kind of convene and talk about this one. That was a really good throw from By. The runners, a lot of aggression thrown to even consider trying to advance a base on what wasn't a wild pitch. That was well in front of By. The throw down looked good. The tag looked good. I think that backhand from Medina must have got into third before the tag was applied on the inside hand. So at the moment, it's second and third, 2 out. That's the way it's going to stay.
And we are still in the early part of this ball game, but we feel like we've had some questionable balls and strike calls. We've had some close plays at first, some even closer plays at third, given both sides opportunities to give the umpires at least a piece of their minds, right or wrong. Both of those plays, we saw one on the pickoff. Oh, this one, a base hit up the middle by Freeman, and that's going to allow both runners to come across to score now. And now it's a 5-3 ball game, and Brady By just got tossed out of this ball game.
Yeah, and now with the runs coming across, he has, in his mind, the right to kind of give the umpire a piece of his mind, and he's going to get his money's worth before he's escorted off.
Again, By still frustrated by the previous pitch right before that single, where Brady By feels that he threw out Medina at third. And of course, the Regina product getting a standing ovation as he sent back to the dugout. And Rai Pathakos hears the explanation, and he too retreats back to the Red Sox side.
Now, it's weird about, depending on which way they'll exit the dugout, if it's out the back or if it's out the front, the Red Sox clubhouse is out in center field, which means By would either have to go all the way across or go around back. Either way, we're going to get a Slight break here with Rhett Hodgins, the backup catcher coming in for Regina.
And yes, you mentioned the extended delay that we're going to have here, as it is Hodgins into the ball game. I think Pathakos maybe wants to see if Hodgins can get a couple warm-up pitches from his now battery mate.
Yeah, Pathakos is asking first base coach Elmer Jerkovitz about it.
Seems too that Stephen Butts is having a little bit more of an animated conversation with Jerkovitz, as there's some frustration. So yes, there will be some warm-up pitches for Langford and Hodgins to be able to get acclaimed. We also have a little bit of time to talk about what's happened this inning. It's been weird, and in the midst of all that, Saskatoon is back within 2 runs.
And this is what they can do. They can turn things around with just a, you can do it with one, but Saskatoon today, that doesn't seem to be the case. They're going to do it with a couple. Still going to take a couple more seconds before we can see Zadunik come up.
So it all started off with a leadoff walk out of Nathan Houston, and then a really good fielding decision over at third base. Was able to get Balin Sorensen at the plate, and Brady Baez walking out in the field now, as he's going to delay this game even further.
Yeah, this is kind of what we were talking about.
And get a little bit of a curtain call as well.
Yeah.
And he's continuing to yell at Rob Allen, who's staring him down as Bai walks off the field.
Yeah, he's a Saskatchewan guy. His family comes to these games. A lot of fans here with him being from Regina, being from Saskatchewan. Represents the city well, represents his team well as he walks off. It's going to take a little bit more time.
By a fan favorite here, and the fanfare increasing for number 2. And there he goes as the door closes out in left center, and he heads back to the clubhouse. And now Turner Zadunik at the plate, left-handed batter. He's 0 for 1 tonight. Is Rob Allen now yelling at the Red Sox. And now the fans also starting to give it to Rob Allen after he was.
Yeah, and all this, Kai Langford, he's taking a very long time between pitches and kind of loses some command. There's a righty getting loose in the pen as Stephen Butts, pitching coach, will come out.
Now I think too for the Red Sox bench, got to kind of calm them down a little bit as well. We saw it appeared to be Jackson Searing, who is the DH tonight. He's in the ball game up on the fence as he was out there pointing as well.
Yeah, he's not someone you want even the possibility of getting thrown out of a game for just a couple of words.
Too valuable.
No, yes, he's. And I think the Red Sox understand that. Pathakos, he's going to try to be the cool head in a situation where there aren't many.
Emotions high here in the top of the 4th inning here, Curry Field. Cooler heads appear to prevail here, and Langford now, after kind of being thrown into an interesting situation, is struggling to find the zone. Count is 3-0 to the number 9 hitter, Zadunik. Gets the called strike there out of Zach Chartrand.
And you can kind of feel a bit more energy around the building. Red Sox is trying to convert that into some kind of momentum.
There goes the runner, Freeman. Swinging at it is Hodgins. It's in the dirt, so no play, allowing Freeman to get to stolen base and second base easily. And on the 3-2 pitch, it's outside, and Zadunik works the walk. 2 runners on now for the leadoff hitter, Westland, who did have a single in the 3rd inning and then was picked off by Langford.
And now 2 outs. The runner will, or the first baseman will play behind the runner.
Another ball outside as Langford really struggling with the release point now. One-0 pitch from Langford. Off a second is Freeman. Zadunik at first. Pitch to Westland, high and inside as well. So it's ball number 2.
And Langford really wanted that one, kind of threw his arms up, asking if that hit the upper part of the zone, but they said no.
We have seen a rigid strike zone out of Chartrand before. This one also inside as Westland had to turn out of the way.
Yeah, this is getting concerning for the Red Sox. Imagine if the bases get loaded, that's likely going to be a call to the pen. If not, there's going to be some more urgency down that third base or that first base foul line.
Langford is at 81 pitches, 48 of them for strikes, but this is really the first inning where he's had a little bit of issue with the command. I think the battle with the home plate umpire isn't helping Langford either.
Now Red Sox, their heads were gone a couple batters ago, but I think they're starting to reel things back in.
3-1 pitch. Catches the elbow, but nonetheless, it is a walk. 2 straight of those for Saskatoon, and now the base is loaded for the dangerous Carter Beck. Beck is the 9th Saskatoon Berry to come to the plate.
Now the tying run at second, the leading run at first.
Just 2 home runs so far for Beck this season, but it had 11 of those last year. Did the number 2 hitter. Last hit a home run here on Canada Day. A big 2-run shot. Great pitch there out of Langford, a breaking ball which caught the zone. Confidence booster for Langford. As we're locked in the middle of another kind of long, draggy game. But it's close, 5-3. Pitch here. Just misses the inside black, says Chartrand. 2-1 the count now to Carter Beck. Langford just hoping to get out of the jam here with the damage limited. Great pitch. Evens the count at 2, and he's 1 strike away from getting out of it. And the pitch here. Up the middle. Fielded by Fox. It's off his glove and into center field. Making the turn at third is Zadunik after Freeman had already come across to score. And now this ball game is tied.
That was a tough play for Fox and for Steele. middle infielders trying to make that play. It's off the tip of the glove of Fox. He tries to reach for it. I wonder if they maybe should have left that one for Steele with the shift a little bit on, and now with the game tied, that's going to be the call to the pen.
So that will spell the night for Kai Langford. We'll introduce you to the new Red Sox pitcher in just a moment. We'll be right back on Flow Sports.
Well, that was a mess.
Yep. Was that Page? Oh, no. Now he's yelling at Chartrand as well.
Raz got to tell him to lock it in because this is getting ridiculous.
Aiden Page.
Now pitching for your Regina Red Sox, number 40, Aiden Page. Introducing brought to you by Mr. Lou. Are you in need of a change?
Uh, 17. Ten.
New pitcher into the ball game for the Regina Red Sox. It's the stingy reliever Aiden Page.
So Page comes in, line not closed on Langford as he goes 3 2/3 across 7 hits. Aiden Page on the year has a 4 ERA across 11 games. He's gone 27 total innings, nearly matching his total last season. He has struck out 30, walked 13, and allowed 25 hits. He's got an 0-1 record. His last appearance came a couple nights ago in that 16-19 loss against Moose Jaw, where he went 2 innings and allowed 2 runs, which in that game was an impressive stat line, I suppose, across 1 hit, 1 walk, and a strikeout.
For Page, has kind of solidified himself as a guy who can kind of come in and clean up a mess, work a couple innings as well. He's got some starting experience, so you know he's got some length to his arm. And now the battery is completely changed for Regina in this inning with Rhett Hodgins behind the plate. And now Aiden Page ready to make his first pitch of this appearance. It's low and in the dirt, and Hodgins able to.
And you mentioned cleaning up a mess. And Red Sox, they've gotten one themselves. Whether it's because of the umpiring, whether it's because of their emotions, I'll let you decide. But now, one thing's for sure, this is a tie ball game that the Red Sox let away.
Houston led off this inning with a walk and then came around to score Saskatoon's first run. Since then, they've put up another 4 on the board and tied this ball game. The go-ahead run is on third. Big swing here out of Houston into center. Chasing after it is Motz. He's unable to make the grab as this one rolls all the way to the fence. Turning at second is Houston, and it's a 2 RBI triple, and now the Berries have the lead.
Well, those runs are going to go against Langford. But either way, Saskatoon have absolutely blown this one open here. Top of the 4th with this 2-run lead. Regina, they only need the 1 out, but they're going to have a bit of more of a mountain to climb than they thought they would through the first couple innings.
That also closes the book on Langford, who gives up 7 runs, all earned, in addition to working 3 2/3, 7 hits, 3 walks, struck out 3 batters. So after a real solid first 3 innings, the 4th inning for Langford really getting away from him. And Saskatoon completely flipping this game on its head. Big swing there out of Evan Janner as Aiden Page able to work a really nice pitch on the other half. Moves the count now to 2-1. There is 2 outs. Pitch here, the slider low, says Chartrand, and now Aiden Page introduced to the rigid strike zone. Already some frustration bellowing. 3-1 pitch, big swing out of Janner, and that moves the count to full. And he checks in with Chartrand saying, I think that one was away, and Chartrand agrees. Payoff pitch. In the dirt. Another walk by a Red Sox pitcher. Runners now on the corners with 2 outs for Balin Sorensen. The 12th Saskatoon Berry to come to the plate. Again, the Red Sox just 1 pitch from getting out of this. Got to get the bats back up. There goes the runner. First pitch, check swing, went around. And on the confusion by Hodgins, allows Janner to move on the stolen base easily.
You wonder if maybe the change of catcher also is one of the reasons that the Red Sox have been kind of struggling. You just put off a guy in such an important position as catcher just off the bench cold, that's going to have some repercussions.
Yeah, it's a good point to make that Hodgins himself has been thrust into a difficult situation. Much better at bat here out of Aiden Page, and the battery all itself 0-2 count. Best position a Red Sox pitcher has been in this inning. Makes contact is Sorensen into right center. Under it is Jackson, and finally the Red Sox are able to get out of this one. So they lose the lead, and now Saskatoon has a 7-5 lead. They do so on just 5 hits. Red Sox did commit an error, but leave 2 on. The Sox bats back up to bat. Bottom half of the 4th after the break.
All right, folks. Now, we know all about the 7th inning stretch, but we're going to do the 4th inning stretch right now here, because I think we deserve to get up and loosen those bones a little bit. We are going to sing YMCA. Now, stand up. We're going to have to sign all the letters in, and make sure that you guys really get the letters good so our umpire can see, okay? Now, joining us here, believe it or not, he's been a Saskatoon Berries hat on. So we're going to see if this guy can actually spell YMCA. Let's play that song.
Okay, 15.
As if this Highway 11 rivalry needed any more emotion and to be put inside a pressure cooker. Man, today has been lively. There's been a lot going on.
Yeah, there has, and I think the biggest thing that we can take out of that 7th inning, where a pitcher was ejected, or excuse me, a catcher was ejected and a pitcher was changed, is that Regina, they need to kind of lock back in on getting this lead back. 7 in the top of the 4th, and you can look at a lot of that and say that maybe it was a call over at third, a pickoff attempt, or excuse me, Brady Bahai caught a runner stealing that Riley Bender got a tag on. They thought it was well in time. Umpire over at third, Rob Allen, said otherwise, and felt like a good amount of Red Sox, including their coaching staff, were up in arms about that. And they ended up giving up 2 runs the very next pitch. Brady Bahai then got tossed. They then allowed a multitude more runs throughout that inning, and now we are where we are in a much tighter ball game.
Well, you mentioned a pickoff in the last Red Sox half. There was a pickoff move over at first, which caught Ian Motts. And it really seemed like from there, that's where the boiling point almost started. But now things reset. And no better way to do so than just turning the lineup over. It is the 1-2-3 hitters. Jacob Steele at the plate now. Counts 2-2. On deck is Raphael Jackson, and Jackson Searing also set to bat this inning. And Jacob Steele goes down looking. On the outside corner, says Zach Chartrand. Just the second strikeout of the afternoon for Dallin Rude. And for Rude, he came into this ball game down 5-0, and for the first time this afternoon, he walked out onto the mound with a lead.
I'd imagine that's got to put some confidence in him. His defense has played pretty well today as well.
Jackson swinging here. It's grounded over to the second baseman, Medina, who throws it over. And for the first time tonight, Jackson goes down on a ground out. Out number 2.
And just as I say that, Medina makes a pretty slick defensive play. So now Rude absolutely knows that his defense is there for him. His offense has been there for him, as it has been all season. Just took a little bit longer for them to actually remember how to swing a baseball bat. But now they can do it in spades.
Brings Jackson Searing in. He's 1 for 1 with a walk. Sorry, 0 for 1 with a walk because he reached on an error back in the first inning. Big swing here. It's skied into center field. Carter Beck is able to get under. It is playable. And it's a 1-2-3 inning. And after the Saskatoon Berries bats put 7 up in the 4th, they'll look to add to their lead here. 5th inning coming up.
Well, you called it. You said this would happen.
The bottom of the 4th inning was brought to you by Starlight Dental, the official dental office of the Red Sox. Then just a reminder, next home game will be back against Regina. They will be away at Curry Field at 7 o'clock.
Usually, like if I can get like one batter up to like slide it over, I'll like whatever. Like if 10 come to the plate, then it's whatever. But like I'm just like giving it up, like just moving all the ends.
Jeez, yeah.
And I got the tape on, so.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna be killing myself if it's like a 1-2-3 inning. It's like whatever.
That would be unreal. 20.
Then the top of the 5th inning is brought to you by Microwave, proud partner of the Red Sox. Secure your business. Contact Microwave today.
5, 4.
Top of the 5th inning as we're just about halfway through this ball game, which has had a little bit of everything. It's had a lot of scoring. It's had some pretty nice defense. The pitching, however, hasn't really been there, but it's had a lot of emotion and a lot of it directed towards the guys in black this afternoon.
Yeah, and if there's one thing we can promise, it's probably going to have a pretty good finish.
It all gets going here with Aiden Page back on the mound. First pitch high and away to Abia Medina, who leads things off. 6, 7, 8 hitters coming up for Saskatoon. Medina, Corey Waters, and Jalen Freeman to do up. Medina with an RBI single last time up in the 4th, as 12 berries came to the plate last inning. Page hoping to cut that inning by or that number by a quarter, perhaps. Down 2-0. Pitch called a strike. That moves the count to 2-1 now for Aiden Page.
Yeah, 2-for-2 hitter is Medina. He's been looking pretty good today.
He's been pulling the ball a little bit. A nice little hit into the gap, as well as one just past the glove of Jalen Seward at first. Page faced 3 batters when he came in the 4th. He gave up a triple to Nathan Houston and then walked Evan Janner before a flyout ended the inning finally for Regina. Full count here to Abia Medina. Gets the sign. And called strike, first of the afternoon for Aiden Page.
That was a big first one that he needed. When his 4th batter faced, he's allowed 2 to reach. You know, getting that first is going to be very important if Red Sox want to get a couple more innings out of him, which they were not expecting to pull Langford that early, I don't think. So getting a couple out of Page is extremely crucial if they want to get back in this one.
Brings Corey Waters back in 0 for 2 with a strikeout and then reached on a fielder's choice. Takes the first pitch strike here out of Aiden Page, as now he kind of seems a little bit more settled in already himself. Maybe he's figured out the strike zone or found the release point. This one grounded to Matthew Fox at short, picks it up. And they get Waters out number 2, 2 up, 2 down. Freeman stepping back in. He's 1 for 2. He had a 2 RBI single, which scored the first 2 runs. Sorry, the second and third runs for Saskatoon. First pitch outside out of Aiden Page. There is a Saskatoon Berry warming up in the bullpen. We'll see if Dylan Rude's afternoon is complete at this point. As for the Regina side, there is some warming up happening, but no throwing. A couple guys, just looks like maybe they're trying to stay loose. Great pitch out of Page there, a slider on the other half, and he's ahead 1-2 to Jalen Freeman. Page looking to set him down, and he gets Freeman swinging. They'll complete the tag and the out. So a great inning out of Aiden Page where he strikes out 2. He needed only 9 pitches to do it. Still 7-5 Saskatoon as we cross the halfway mark here at Curry Field. Second half coming up on Flow Sports.
So what was that about 1, 2, 3 inning?
Yeah, I know, right? I knew that was going to happen. It's whatever.
Well, remember what you were doing 20 years ago and some of the things that happened over the years in those 20 years. Well, as we head back to 2005, Mark Messier announced he was retiring from the NHL that year. The Edmonton Eskimos beat Montreal 38-35 in the Grey Cup in 2000.
And I was 1 year old.
New pitcher.
The Grey Cup went into overtime. Grey's Anatomy premiered 20 years ago.
Adam Beeman.
John Paul II died in 2005, and Pope Benedict XVI was elected the new pope. And here in Saskatchewan, Gordon Talbot was the premier at the time. Paul Martin was the prime minister. We were 32 million strong in 2005, and here we are this afternoon. We are now 42 million strong.
Now
10.
Barry's number 17, Adam Beeman.
4, 3, 2.
Back at the Queen City at Curry Field, the Red Sox getting set to kick things off for the second half of this ball game, and they'll face a brand new pitcher on the mound for Saskatoon. It's the righty out of Central Arizona College, Adam Beeman.
Beeman, the returning Barry, has a 1-0 record on the year with a 5.10 ERA. He's got a start in 7 relief appearances. He has a inning total of 12 1/3, 13 strikeouts, 12 walks, and 14 hits. So a lot of men reach, but he's able to put a decent amount away. His last appearance came in that absolute blowout game, 22-4 win against the Weyburn Beavers on the 3rd of July. Went 2 innings, allowing 3 earned runs, 2 hits, 5 walks, striking out 2, crossed a pretty hefty 13 batters.
And that also allows us to close the book on Dallin Rood. It goes 3 2/3, near perfect innings. He gave up 3 hits, a walk, struck out 2, no runs against, and he leaves now with the ability to win this ball game, or at least in line for it, does Rood. After a real tough effort out of the opener for Saskatoon, who gave up 5 runs. The second pitcher doing his job, and now they have the lead.
Yeah, feels pretty shut down due to the Red Sox. The momentum strictly in the Barry's favor. This is a good part of the lineup to turn that around. Brett Hodgins is going to get his first attempt here after this.
It is Jalen Seward in as he's dancing out of the way of the inside pitch. He'll lead things off, as you mentioned. Hodgins on deck with Riley Bender batting third this inning. 2-1 pitch, hard hit, right at the third baseman, Westland, who gets it on a pick. And although he was falling over, Zadunik able to get his foot on the bag and able to complete the out, and Seward thinks he missed it. Frustration boiling again for the Red Sox.
Yeah, Seward's going to argue it because Zadunik caught the ball, had his foot on the base, but then it kind of slipped off, and they're saying that the timing of that was not viable for an out, but the call's going to stand pretty easily.
So Red Hodgins steps in after coming in relief of Brady Bye, who was tossed out of this ball game. For Red Hodgins this season, just 2 for 4 on the year. So a 500 average. He's driven in 3 runs. Scored one himself. He's walked once. On base percentage at 500. The slugging percentage is at 500. This one popped way up, just into the outfield grass, deep in the outfield, and it's out number 2. Riley Bender stepping in. 2 outs here for Regina. Saskatoon pitchers able to get the last 5 Red Sox out, and it's another throw that's over the head of Zadunik, but he's able to come down on the base and complete the out. 1-2-3 inning for the second straight. Saskatoon back to bat after this.
Okay, we are going to play Who Said That? DJ Jeremy Loveland has got himself a clip here, and we're going to play this clip. It's from a movie. You can tell me the name of the character or the movie presenter, and all four of you can help the Curry Field. We might need your help too. Okay, so let's play that clip. I'm going to make him an offer again. I'm going to make him an offer again with Peters. Now, who do you think that is? What movie?
Haven't got a clue.
You're going with the Godfather, Martin Brown. Did you want to call it? Okay, here we go. This lady in the pink wig, she knows her movies. She really connected to the Godfather. Anyway, that is the name of the movie. Congratulations. We have a nice little prize tag here for you anyway, because it's a team effort.
30.
And there you go. Someone's got to win the prize. It's a team effort. So you can disperse it with anybody in Curry Field you want. How about the Go Sox Go? Go Sox Go.
Ten.
Top of the sixth inning here, and if you're looking for the highlights of this game, make sure you go to the Western Canadian Baseball League YouTube page where our friends at IKS Media post the highlights for this game or any game there. You can usually find them the day after the ball game. You can also watch full broadcasts on demand on that YouTube page, or you can continue to watch them live here on Flow Sports. Stepping in is Turner Zadunik, the number 9 hitter, leads things off for Saskatoon. 0 for 1 tonight, ground out, and has been on base with a walk. Aiden Page with a really good 5th inning. Was able to get 2 strikeouts and set down the Berries 1-2-3. Keep the score at 2. Or at least the run at 2. Or the lead at 2 runs. That's what I'm trying to say. Zadunik fouls this one right at about the Red Sox bullpen. So the count now 2-2. Hodgins gives the sign. Page looking in. Here's the pitch. Nice little slider that was breaking towards the outer part. And Zadunik able to foul it off. Great pitch, and Zadunik goes down looking. Strikeout number 3 on the afternoon now for Aiden Page.
Good job from Page to work the outer part of the zone. Zadunik thought that was a little bit outside to his reaction. Instead, he'll take the long walk back.
Cooper Westland back in, 3rd plate appearance. Struck out to lead off the ball game. He did get a hit back in the 3rd and then walked and came around to score in the 4th, a part of that big 4th inning by Saskatoon, which allowed them to put 7 runs up on the board and take the lead. First few innings of this one was all Regina. The middle 3rd so far has gone the Berries' way, as Westland fouls this one hard and out of play, right field side. Pitch here. Fouled off the inside foot of Westland. So he'll step out and regroup himself. One-two pitch. Westland makes contact. It's into center field, but playable for Motts, who makes the grab easily. Number 2. And after Page gave up a triple to the first batter that he faced and a walk to the next one after that, he's set down. The last 6 Saskatoon berries he's faced.
Yeah, and in that time, he's also got 3 strikeouts. So that's what the Red Sox have needed. They're going to need at least another inning, maybe an inning and a half or so. But if he can continue on this pace, that'll put the Red Sox in a good position to potentially come back in the final few innings of this one.
Dangerous hitter up right now, though. Carter back threatens to put a run up on the board when he's standing in the batter's box with nobody out. Check swing there. Doesn't go around, so it's ball number 2. Up and down this Berries lineup. Everyone has the ability to do damage. Now, when Saskatoon and Regina played last week, the Berries led this category, but they've dropped to second now. They are second in the league in runs for, with 259 coming in. And for their pitching staff, number 1 in the league for runs against with just 139. Saskatoon 1 or 2 in each offensive category. Similar story for the pitching on the defensive side. Just doing it all. Back, full count here. Payoff pitch. Misses low, so Beck works the walk. Does the Cardiff product. Nathan Houston back up now. Oh, the ball is in the dirt and gets away from Hodgins. Wild pitch allows Beck to advance. And that walk turns into a double.
I was talking about how long the Red Sox kind of want Page in this, and the only way that he's not going to be in this game by maybe inning number 7 is plays like that get you into jams, put runners in scoring position. You know, they're 1 pitch away from getting out of the inning, but they're also 1 pitch away from making this lead much worse.
Check swing foul ball out of Nathan Houston. Page now has thrown 42 pitches, 25 of them for strikes. A little bit of a rockier start to the outing for Aiden Page, but they'll come out to have a little mound visit, make sure they're on the same page, no pun intended. For Stephen Butts, what's this conversation with the righty about?
Well, I'd imagine it's mostly about the runner at second and how you walked him on a full count, then he allowed the wild pitch. You know, that's one of the bigger pieces of adversity that Page has been responsible for in this game. You know, obviously he allowed the 2 runs, but not to his responsibility. You know, he's been in tough situations. This is probably one of the tougher ones. 1-1 count, you just want to make sure he's okay. Want to give him that kind of relief that, hey, this is your inning. If you get out of it, who's to say the next one isn't yours? That kind of a thing. So nothing too serious, nothing to worry about, really, if you're an outlooker.
This one fouled off by Houston, and now Page 1 strike away from getting out of this inning, down just 2 runs. Page the pitch. Contact made. It's flied into right field. Jackson able to get a beat on it. And as he trots running backwards, he makes the grab for out number 3. The 2-out walk. No damage made. Score remains 7-5 Saskatoon. Red Sox bats coming back on Flow Sports.
Caught up in the WCBL excitement, stay in the game with FloCollege, streaming all of baseball action live and on demand after events. Visit FloCollege.com and keep watching your favorite teams. That's FloCollege.com.
Same pitcher. Also 40 seconds.
Still beaming.
Yep.
Want to do a scoreboard?
Sorry?
Scoreboard?
Yeah, I got you. 10.
We're getting set for the bottom of the 6th inning here in Regina. One of 7 ball games on the docket in the Western Canadian Baseball League on this Sunday afternoon.
Lots of action across the league. Well, take a look. Starting from the top, it's a couple of finals to tell you about. In Fort McMurray, the Sylvan Lake Gulls have beaten the Giants 8-3. That was earlier today as well. Earlier today, as Mons take that one for a strike. The Moose Jaw Miller Express, another high-run affair. They fall 15-14 in Rosswell's Park to the Lethbridge Bulls. In Brooks, a 13-3 Dogs win over the Bombers. Today at 7, the Swift Current 57s will face the Weyburn Beavers at Tom Lang Park. And then we have our game, 7-5. Beavers lead the Red Sox here in the bottom of the 6th.
Still plenty of baseball left. Ian Montz leading things off here, bottom of the 6th inning, and he was met immediately with 2 questionable strike calls. One of them seemed way outside the zone from my view behind home plate, but my opinion, however, doesn't really matter that much when it comes to the balls and strikes this afternoon. And down goes Montz on 4 pitches. The last one gets him looking.
Well, we kind of brought up how long the Red Sox want Page in this game, and I think for the Beavers, Adam Beeman's going to be another important one to kind of stay out there for a little bit longer as well. You know, we talked about this being a bullpen game, but Beeman can go that extra mile that they're hoping for. That would be very helpful to them keeping this lead.
Well, for Beeman, he only needed 8 pitches to get through the 5th. A ground ball here by Tucker. Play at first gets him out. A very close play. But the arm of Nathan Houston enough to get Tucker.
Yeah, I think Houston, this is a pretty good throw by him. It beats out the runner by half, maybe a quarter of a step. And now there's 2 gone very quickly. Some of the Red Sox need to lock back in on is their offense. That big first inning, and they have done all but nothing since.
Matthew Fox, the number 9 hitter, stepping back in 0 for 2 already tonight. Coming after the 4 for 5 effort last night. Fox has a short little 3-game hit streak going right now, hoping to extend that to 4. Pitch from Beeman, well high and away as he kind of lost the grip on it. Two-one pitch outside, doesn't catch the black, moves the count now to 3-1 as Fox gets ahead. Pitch here, Fox, hard contact into deep left center, but the wind holds it up and Carter Beck able to track it in front of the warning track. Probably the hardest contact Fox has had this afternoon. But to no avail as it's another 1-2-3 inning. 9 straight Red Sox have gone down. It remains 7-5 Saskatoon with their bats coming back up. Last third of regulation after the break.
Did you say Gale prevails? Is that what I heard? Sorry, never mind. You're good. Oh, boy.
Here's throw number 1. Ooh, a hush falls on 42.
25.
And there's 2. This is the deciding one. We're tied right now. Can he do it? Pressure is on his shoulders. But he's looking at it. Oh, yes.
10.
Things rolling on smoothly here at Curry Field. Top of the 7th inning now. Saskatoon will bring the 4, 5, 6 hitters to the plate in Evan Janner, Balin Sorensen, and Abia Medina. And they have a 7-5 lead, hoping to keep it that way at least and potentially extend it here as we enter the latter third of our afternoon affair here in Regina. Great pitch by Aiden Page to start things off as so far his outing has been quite strong.
And he's going to face a pretty tough part of this lineup across 3 batters. There are 4 hits 3-way through the lineup for these batters. 2 up.
He has faced this part of the lineup already this afternoon, doing so through the 4th and 5th innings. He's given up just 1 walk and set down the other 2. 1 via the strikeout. Pitch in the dirt to Janner will move the count to 2-1. Janner coming into tonight, a .286 hitter, 14 hits on 49 attempts. 2 home runs, 12 driven in. On base percentage at .444, 12 stolen bases. Now he's 0 for 15 to start 2025. Has 14 hits in his last 10 ball games. And hits in 9 of his last 10, including 5 multi-hit games. As he goes around, first strikeout, number 3 of the afternoon for Aiden Page.
Page has looked pretty good. There's a righty getting loose currently in the Red Sox pen, but I know it's early in the inning, but if he can get out of this, it's going to make the Red Sox coaching staff kind of second guess what their game plan is going to be for the next frame.
Both these teams do play tomorrow. Regina will be in Weyburn, while Saskatoon will host the Miller Express.
51 pages for Page thus far. Make it 52.
Big swing out of Sorensen at the slider, low and away for strike number 2. Page well ahead in this count. Pitch is a little high, just doesn't break enough, so had the ability to kind of waste one there. Now the count's 1-2. Things kind of cool off a little bit here on a Sunday afternoon. We've had a really hot summer so far. Big swing, and down goes Sorensen. 2 straight out of Aiden Page.
He's got the strikeout stuff, does Page. Shown it all year, he shows it today. Now we face probably one of the more dangerous hitters in the lineup. The guy who's had a good day today, it's Abram Medina.
Medina 2 for 3 with a single, including 1 RBI single as well. First pitch swing, and this one's into left field. Under it easily is Jordan Tucker as he gets an easy beat on it. Falling over to his left, makes the grab. 1-2-3 inning. Page is set down. The last 4 batters will stretch here at Curry Field. Bottom half of the 7th after the break.
All right, Mitch. There's, I don't think Bruce is here to sing our 7th inning stretch.
All you.
So Mitch is going to have to sing here, but I think we're going to get all of Curry Field. Now, this is the 7th inning stretch. That can stretch those balls. I think the 10th inning field before. We're going to have to get up again, and we're going to do it. By the way, last call number for 50-50. We'll be getting those 50-50 numbers here for you pretty soon. There we go. And there is the music. And Curry Field, we're going to have to get out and rock you. Out and rock you.
Just a reminder that the next Red Sox home game coming your way this Tuesday night, game time 7 o'clock. The opposition that night will be the Swiftwater 57. Hope to see you at Curry Field on Tuesday night. At the plate, the second baseman number 4, Jacob Steele.
First pitch of the bottom of the 7th inning. Swinging is Jacob Steele as he puts that one into right center. Chasing after it is Carter Beck, and he makes the grab running to his left. 1 pitch, 1 out to start the bottom half.
Adam Beamer still out for another inning of work. Ready for what he hopes to be another one that would bump his inning total to 3.
Now as Raphael Jackson steps in, I was going to mention with Jacob Steele before he got out so quickly, 0 for 3 tonight is Steele in threat of ending a 4-game hit streak for him. He's had 6 hits over that stretch. The 1-0 pitch is called a strike out of Zach Chartrand. Jackson is 2 for 3, but he got both of his hits back in the first 2 innings, when Regina was kind of controlling this game. But now ahead, chasing a little bit. 1-2 pitch out of Beeman. Misses high, evens the count at 2. Beeman's only needed 23 pitches to this point of his outing, and he's worked now into his 3rd inning. And he gets Jackson swinging here. 2nd strikeout of the afternoon for Beeman.
And, you know, that number, say 2 strikeouts, because he has 13 on the year, and that feels like, you know, he gets a lot in his games. But, you know, we haven't seen it a lot from him. He's relied on his defense. He hasn't allowed too many men to reach either. 3 straight 1-2-3 innings, and on the verge of his 4th, as you've mentioned. So a bit of a defensive day for the reliever, not having to do too much himself.
Throw well off line out of Beeman there, but nobody on as Jackson Searing steps back in. Searing is 1 for 2 with a single walk and a fly out for the DH this afternoon. That one misses low and away. From the Red Sox side, there is a pitcher warming. It's Calvin Shepard, the righty. Be interesting to see if that spells the night for Aiden Page, who's had a really good outing this afternoon, but up over 80 pitches, or 50 pitches, I should say, as this one's grounded right to the 3rd baseman, Westland. Throw over is on target. Another 3 up, 3 down inning, the 4th such type of inning for Regina this afternoon. Remains 7-5, top of the 8th. Only 6 outs remaining for for Regina after this.
That's Shepard.
Yep.
Now pitching for your Regina Red Sox, number 38, Calvin Shepard.
Shreveport.
Two, one.
Just as we thought, a new pitcher into the ball game for the Regina Red Sox. It's the righty out of Louisiana State Shreveport and Indianapolis, Indiana, Calvin Shepard on the mound now.
Shepard, a guy who joined the Red Sox a bit late, but he has racked up the appearances. 6 on the year, all in relief thus far. 15 strikeouts to 5 walks over 15 and 2/3 innings. A 1-1 record. And in his last game in that 16-19 loss, he only allowed a run. 2 runs, I should say. One of them earned over 2 1/3. 2 hits, 2 strikeouts, and 11 batters in that game.
And what an afternoon it was for Aiden Page, who came in, thrust into a bases-loaded jam. He gave up a triple to the first batter that he faced, and that was the only hit against in 3 1/3 innings pitched. He did walk 2 batters. He struck out 5, but gave up 0 runs himself. and has really kept this game close when it seemed like Saskatoon was beginning to run away with it. It is the 7, 8, and 9 batters for Saskatoon as that curveball got well away from Shepard. And to the backstop. So the count moves to 2-1 to Corey Waters, who leads things off. Jalen Freeman is on deck with Turner Zadunik also getting a shot here, and Waters fouls that one off. Hodgins gives the sign. Shepard the 2-2 pitch. Waters makes contact, skied this one into shallow left center. Tucker will call off Fox, make the grab for out number 1.
It looked like it was going to be a tougher play than it was with Fox backing up towards Tucker, but not very much of a blooping ball. It just kind of rainbowed its way into the hands of the right fielder.
Jalen Freeman back up, and his 4th inning single extended, or rather, started a new hit streak. He had a 7-game hit streak broken last night when he went 0-for. Takes a first pitch ball here from Calvin Shepard. That pitch also low. Freeman struck out his last plate appearance in the 5th. Has driven in 2 runs this afternoon. This one grounded right up the middle. That's going to get through the gap. A second hit of the night for Jalen Freeman.
Good timing from these Barry's batters. The field when they're getting those singles and getting those base hits to kind of extend these innings, they're going right down the middle. They're not allowing these Red Sox defenders to make any chance at a big play.
Zadunik in now after the 1-out single from Freeman. Called a strike. Great pitch out of Calvin Shepard there. It's got some zip to it. We have seen Freeman steal a base already this afternoon. This one grounded right back to the catcher, but no chance to get Freeman at second. So they go to easy way to first and get Zadunik for out number 2.
That's a smart play from Shepard. No need to risk potentially a missed throw over at second or anything like that.
So the leadoff batter, Cooper Westland, in now. 4th plate appearance, but he is 1 for 3 this afternoon. Had a single back in the 3rd inning to help improve his average slightly. He also walked back in the 4th, and it's a first pitch swinging strike out of Westland. Look back at Freeman. There he goes. Called strike. No throw over. Scored in defensive indifference as there wasn't even an attempt over by Hodgins. And Bender didn't even walk over to third either. There is 2 outs, 2 strikes. Pitch here, and down goes Westland as they strand the runner. Score remains 7-5, and there's only 6 outs remaining for Regina. They'll get the next 3 here as they look to draw even. Bottom of the 8th inning coming up. This one continues on Flow Sports. It's a little late.
Baseball from the WCBL to the MLB. Stream it all with Access Internet and XTV Stream. Check out myaccess.ca for the latest deals.
What am I doing?
This new pitcher? Yes, it is. 48.
No. They don't have 49.
Yeah, I think you're right. It is 49.
Call him Plain.
Is that 49, you think? For a pitcher. Or can you see it? Or yeah, 49. Okay. 20. Three, two.
Bottom half of the 8th inning here, Curry Field, as we near the end of regulation here in Regina. New pitcher on the mound for Saskatoon is the Saskatoon product, Colin Plain.
Yeah, second Saskatoon pitcher here for the Berries. Second one to come out of the bullpen, that is. From Arizona Christian University, another returning Berry. 1-0 record on the year for him in 4 relief appearances. Only 3 2/3 across 4 strikeouts, 3 walks, and 2 hits. So a small sample size, but they clearly trust him. His last time up, he was given a win in an 8-7 win against the Miller Express. Win an inning, only walking a batter, striking out 1 in only 5 batters. So more of a late game reliever. For
First pitch swinging is Jalen Seared, puts that one into right center, and Carter Beck running back on it. Makes the grab just in front of the warning track, and the defensive prowess by Carter Beck showed off slightly.
Yeah, we like to rave and rave and rave about the kid's offense, but his defense is extremely suitable. We see there the kind of the over-the-shoulder running back grab. The wind has pretty much died down. Went from swirling to pretty calm here as the day continues.
Red Hodgins, second plate appearance of the afternoon for him. First pitch swinging also, and Plain through 2 pitches has gotten 2 outs, one via flyout, the next on the ground out. And the Red Sox running out of outs to work with.
Yeah, down to their final 4 here as Bender will dig in. If he goes down here, it'll be Mons, Tucker, and Fox due up. You know, they'd love to turn that one around and try to get even Steele or maybe even Jackson up.
Bender shows bunt, but he pulls it back to take strike number 1. Bender 0 for 3 this afternoon. Reached on a fielder's choice back in the first inning and then came around to score. Has struck out and grounded out since. That ball inside as he moves the foot out of the way for ball number 1. Count evens at 1. The last 14 Red Sox have been set down, make that 15 as Bender goes down as well. 5 straight 3 up, 3 down innings for Regina, and they're down 7-5. Top of the 9th inning coming up. We'll be right back. Woof.
Season ticket holders for 12 years, and before that
30. Or about 20.
Leading it off for the Berries as they're top of the ninth. Center field, Carter.
2-1.
Carter Beck will step in the left-handed batter's box to lead off the top of the ninth inning after we saw him make a really nice defensive play for out number one in the bottom of the eighth. Takes a first pitch strike, got a Calvin Shepard back out for his second inning of work. He did just 13 pitches to get through the eighth, did Shepard. Beck shows bunt, went around, strike number 2.
Yeah, Beck 1 for 3 today with a walk and a 2 RBI base hit back in that fourth inning. First and the fourth, only innings that there have been run totals. Otherwise, it's been a lot of eggs.
This one bounced foul. So count remains 0-2. Pitch here from Shepard, also fouled off by Beck. Each team has needed really just one big inning to find all their offense. For Regina, it was the first. For Saskatoon, it was the fourth. Other than that, the pitching. This one grounded right at Matthew Fox. They'll throw over, and it is in time for out number 1.
Yeah, the pitching, the defense, as we see a good play from Fox. Seen a lot of good plays in the infield. We saw Beck make a good grab. We've seen Muntz nail down center for the Sox. It's been a good day all around, but Red Sox, they're going to need to start a frozen cold train if they want to get back in this one.
Nathan Houston now stepping in. 1 out on the board for Saskatoon right now. He also shows bunt, but pulls it back for ball number 1. Two runs would feel like a little bit easier to maybe get back for the Regina Bats. This one also grounded hard right at Matthew Fox. Great throw over. Out number 2, both to the shortstop. And now Evan Janner in. 1 for 3.
With that one walk back in the fourth. Infield playing at a bit of a shift here. Third baseman Bender midway through, and the second baseman and shortstop.
This one hit hard, but that's through the gap and past a diving Jacob Steele. The 2-out single for Evan Janner swinging on the first pitch.
And just as I was mentioning the shift, swings it right into the shift and right into right field.
Few raindrops starting to fall here as we draw close to the end. Our ball game at about 2 hours, 40 minutes to this point. Pitch out of Shepard, low and away, ball number 1.
Yeah, there's some concern about rain maybe happening a little bit later in the day. It shouldn't, it definitely won't affect the end of this game unless, of course, the unforeseen happens, which is what it is, unforeseen. It can always happen, but it is likely that's going to taper off until this one's finished.
Yes, although we knew that rain was possible later this afternoon and into the evening, not very hard rain. Pickoff look over as Janner diving back in. One pitch now to Shepard. There goes the runner. It's in the dirt, so Hodgins won't have a play. Stolen base for Evan Janner. So we see a couple fans now here at Curry Field kind of diving for cover to stay out of what little rain there is.
And just an update, that's the 13th stolen base for Janner as he ups his team lead.
Second of the afternoon for him as well. Another ball thrown from Shepard to Balin Sorensen. Counts 3-1. There is 2 outs, but Janner's speed, anything into the outfield will allow him to score. And they'll look him back to second as the rain's starting to pick up a little bit. This becomes a little bit more steady. Not heavy though, as this one hit high and hard and well out of play to our right to fill the count at 3-2.
So now the runner will be getting a potential head start, depending on how aggressive the Berries want to be.
Hodgins gives the sign, Shepard the pitch. There goes the runner, grounded foul towards the Berries dugout. Couple arms warming for Saskatoon. Nothing going on the Regina side. Plain, however, did not need a ton of pitches to get through his half of the inning there. Is that one caught by Hodgins on the foul tip, so it's a strikeout. Balin Sorensen, and the Red Sox have some life. Down 7-5, headed to their last chance. Bottom of the 9th, upcoming on Flow Sports. We'll be right back.
The top of the 9th brought to you by Western Litho. Give them a call at 525-8796 for all your printing needs. The Sox would like to thank AOS. AOS is the official provider of IT services for the Red Sox. You can visit their website at aos.ca to learn more. A reminder from our friends at SGI, go out, have a good time, just make sure those good times can happen again by finding a safe ride home. If you need to ride home today, call First Choice Designated Drivers at
No pitcher.
535-9394.
It's either Zach Laird, Matt Whitney.
All right, fans, I know we've got some light rain falling, but the Red Sox need you now.
It's Laird.
Turn those hats inside out. Time for a Red Sox rally.
What'd you say it was, sorry?
Laird,
Laird.
13.
Now pitching for the Saskatoon Berries, number 13, Zach Laird.
Rude and Langford. New pitcher into the ball game for Saskatoon as the Red Sox here look to rally. They'll go up against a lefty in Zach Laird.
Laird from Langley, British Columbia, and Indiana State. A 3-0 record on the year across 11 relief appearances, so he's been a very reliable late reliever coming out of a pretty dominant Berries pen. He's gone 12 innings total, striking out 19, only allowing 10 hits and 10 walks. Having some trouble here in the warm-ups trying to get a grip of this ball as the rain slowly kind of dipping down. His last appearance was on the 4th of July in a 12-8 win at Moose Jaw, when an inning, allowing a hit, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts across 5 batters.
Fans here who are sticking out this little bit of precipitation. The rally caps going. Trying to help their Red Sox to a victory. They are down by 2 runs, 7-5. And of course, they bring in the lefty to go up against the lefty. Ian Montz will lead things off with Jordan Tucker and Matthew Fox also set to do up. 7, 8, 9 hitters. First pitch well outside and through the glove of Balin Sorensen as we see our first sign that the rain may be affecting things out there. Pitch here, much better out of Zach Laird. Called a strike. Mott's tonight, 1 for 2. With a walk and a single, and then struck out last plate appearance. In the dirt there, just needs to get on base. His run means nothing standing in the batter's box. Hard hit towards the second baseman in Medina, who fields it on a couple hops. Throw over there, fielded by Zadunik for out number 1. The last 16 Regina Red Sox have been set down.
Yeah, we thought that this might be a bit of a bullpen game for the Berries, and it got started very weakly with that 5-run first inning, but now we're starting to see how firepowered this bullpen of the Berries really is. They have been lights out, and the board reads it.
Saskatoon has not given up a run since the first inning. And since that first inning, just 3 hits for the Regina Red Sox. And only 4 batters have got on base. 1-1 pitch to Jordan Tucker, fouls it to the screen. It has been real tough sledding for this game through the middle third. Got a little spicy at times. As the Red Sox showed a little bit of frustrations, allowed that to boil over slightly. And Tucker goes down swinging, out number 2.
Yeah, you'd imagine back to that fourth where that play happened, that Red Sox just lost their heads and they never got him back, to be fully honest with you. They were never able to get the bats back in their hands. Maybe it's the loss of Bai. He's a pretty good offensive piece. He's obviously a rock-solid catcher, but just feels like no one's been able to kind of pick that up, and this game just really lost control.
Just 1 out now remaining for Regina. Matthew Fox, the number 9 hitter, hoping to just turn the lineup over, and right now it's just about getting the next batter to the plate. Jacob Steele waits on deck, awaiting a possible opportunity. As Fox, with a big swing, evens the count at 1 after he's unable to make contact there. Consistent but a not hard rain falling. The wind picking up slightly from what we saw even an inning ago. Fox hits this one up the middle past a diving Medina. And maybe a 2-out rally possible here as Fox gets on base. First hit of the afternoon, and that helps him extend a hit streak now to 4 games.
And it breaks the streak of retired Red Sox batters. Pretty rotten streak the Sox had going, and now that'll put the tying run to the dish.
So all you got to do is get the tying run up. Jacob Steele, who's gone 0 for 4 or 0 for 3 tonight. He did have a walk back in the first to lead off the Red Sox side. But a hit here would be big and really flip his stat line over as Zach Chartrand calls that one a strike.
Yeah, Steele yet to really break out offensively for Regina. Oh man, what a moment this would be to even reach.
And they'll look Matthew Fox back to first. What wind there is blowing out to right field, where it's been blowing most of the day. Pitch here, same spot to Jacob Steele, called a strike as they attack that kind of high outer part of the righty Steele. And now the Red Sox down to their final strike. And they'll look Matthew Fox as he's back in standing up for a second time. Laird checks over at first, gets the sign from Sorensen, and he'll do another pickoff attempt.
Fans, today's attendance 1,110. Thank you for coming out to watch the Red Sox here this afternoon.
Laird trying to keep the timing off balance for Steele. 0-2 pitch. Goes to the plate. Steele stays alive, fouls it off.
That's because they know Fox is probably going to be trying to get into scoring position no matter what. And Steele did a good job there, able to kind of play protect. There is a big gap. This defense is shifted more to Steele's pull side with the third baseman and the shortstop well over. So that means there's going to be a bigger gap towards short and second.
And we know Fox does have some speed, but a ball would probably have to get to the wall for him to score. Probably could go first to third to anything hit to the outfield. But it would need to be in the gap. To put another number on the board. Again, Regina has not scored since the first inning when they scored 5 runs. Pitch here, Steele goes down swinging to end the ball game, and they got the tying run up to the plate, but it wasn't enough as the Saskatoon Berries, who have not lost back-to-back games all season long, continue their rule of this East Division.
Yeah, and this is something we've seen all year, you know. Berries, when they seem down, they're always able to come back. Whether that's season-wide after a loss, whether that's within a game when they give up 5 in the first, and they look pretty dead, they're able to wake up, take advantage of their opportunities. Their bullpen was fantastic. They were able to hit the ball pretty well when they needed to. Their defense made the plays. Well-rounded effort from a team that's going to go places, and has pieces in their team that are going to carry them pretty far.
But on the Regina side, it seemed like the offense had woken up and it got started early and they scored often in the first and it seemed like they were going to run away, and all of a sudden the fire taken right out of the bats.
Yeah, you know, there's passion, and then there's silliness, and then there's uncontrolled anger, and we saw that today. We saw a team that had aggression and passion, but they didn't channel it the right way. They didn't channel it into results. They didn't use that to get hits. They didn't use that to get on base. They just used it to kind of have a whiny moan, and they ended up giving up 7 runs that inning. Whether that's a coincidence, whether that's a causation, I'll let you decide, but result speaks for itself. Saskatoon, they're going to be a tough one to beat for anyone in this league.
So Saskatoon wins this game with 7 runs on 10 hits. They did commit 2 errors and left 7 runners on base, while Regina 5 runs on 6 hits and left 5 runners on. And I think for Regina, you look ahead on the schedule, you see Weyburn and Swift Current coming up, and then the toughest test of next week probably Thursday night against Moose Jaw.
Yeah, that's going to be a very interesting run of form for the Red Sox, where they're going to just look to try to get back to 500 as now they fall back down to 15, or excuse me, get above 500, I should say, with Weyburn and Swift Current. However, you look at Saskatoon as well. They placed Weyburn, they placed Swift Current as well, so it's probably just going to go punch for punch. And Regina, they are in no position to lose any ground in that race.
So after the Berries had an 11-game win streak ended last night, they look to start a brand new one. Take this one here on the road in Regina. Of course, tomorrow night, both teams play. You can watch it right here on Flow Sports. Both games get underway at 7 o'clock. Regina in Weyburn, while Saskatoon hosts the Moose Jaw Miller Express. But that's all we have here from Curry Field on a Sunday evening. Here for Elliot Wagner, I'm Donovan Mace. We thank you so much for joining us today. Have a great night, everyone. We'll see you next time.